Yep, I'm right here. I'm not gonna make y'all wait a long time on the intro today. Man, I want to get right into it. Man, look, I'm telling y'all right now, this is why I don't do all that regional shit in hip hop. That shit's stupid as hell. Hip hop has greats in the north, in the south, in the east, in the Midwest, and in the west. And all regions also got goofy ass niggas. And you can't be so in love with your region as a rap fan that you can't call out goofy shit. Puffy's been goofy with them big ass teeth. Like, oh, he sold this many records. No, fuck all them records. The nigga was goofy the whole time. Goofy niggas all over the place. Kanye goofy. Jay-Z's a cool guy, but he's goofy as fuck. And over here on the West, we got our goofies. And the game is one of them. This isn't to call him goofy as a. I don't know how he is as a man. Don't know him. Don't know him like that. Don't know his family. This isn't a personal shot at the guy. But he's game goofy. He's goofy as to the game of the United States of America. And this has been a major problem in black society for about 30, 40 years now. And hip hop has exemplified this issue that we've had in our society. Dealing with a whole bunch of grown boys. Judge Joe Brown. Judge Joe Brown says it perfectly when he says in this generation, you got men walking around because they have the plumbing of a man. But when it comes to dealing with the issues of society, do we have that many? And I'm not saying he's not personally. Again, this ain't a personal shot. It's not a personal shot at all. This is a shot at our entertainment class, and it goes in alignment. Yesterday, I was talking about Lil Wayne and how he's done really nothing to push things forward in our society. Well, now we got to come back over here to the West Coast and talk about another rapper that has done nothing really with his music, with his action, to push forth the greater good of society. Only speaking out last week when he wasn't put on the top 10 of LA rappers, and I totally agree. Because when I think LA rap, I think people who stand up to what the bullshit is going on. I think people who at least say something every now and again. Ice-T laid the foundation for telling it like it is. Ice Cube. These are the forefathers of West Coast. You know what I mean? Tupac came in a lineage that was already existing of militant rappers. He wasn't the first. He was down line. Something about this city. We appreciate people who give it up for the greater good. And he's never been one to do that. Until now. Until now. The game has finally decided to stand up and say something about inequality. He finally decided, a man, to step up and say something about what's going on in the world. In the departure from what we normally get from him, he decided to say something. On his Instagram, I'm over here muting shit, hitting the wrong goddamn button. Here we go. On his Instagram, Game decided to come out and finally speak to the greater good. And it looks like an image of his that was superimposed over what the coverage I had in Paramount where they're burning things. It looks like his image is maybe superimposed. because I doubt he was there when they were throwing those cans of smoke. And in his speaking up about what's going on in the world today, he says, ever since I can remember, it's been black and brown in this city. From the early days of my childhood until now, we've been side by side through it all of us, all the time. Not always saying eye to eye, but we shared Los Angeles for a very long time. I stand with y'all like I know you stand with us. We might fight against each other, but I promise you this. We'll burn this bitch down and get us pissed. To live and die in LA, and that quoting a Tupac line. On behalf of LA and the West Coast to the South, to New York, to Philly, to the Midwest, Atlanta, Memphis, Chicago, Detroit, Oakland up north, I apologize for this lying crock of shit that this nigga just tried to feed y'all. Since he spoke on Los Angeles, now let me speak, okay? Let me get my music going. All right, cool. Let me lower that beat down. There we go, so I can speak over it. Yes, this is some bullshit. So, I read it to you now. I'm about to break it down. Before I break it down, thank you, chat room, for joining. This nigga Deron Brown said DP time. You niggas in the chat room is stupid. Yeah, we about to break it down. I know I just started. I didn't welcome the chat room. Welcome, chat room. I thank y'all for joining. Man, fuck this light. I'm high. Welcome, chat room. Pinned in the top is my Sunday. We're gonna have a 5-week summer school. You can go ahead and enroll right now. I have it on for Mondays, but I could change it to Sunday because I put a poll up. More people voted Sunday, but in the comments, more people said Monday. So I went with Monday, but only people that signed up so far are people that put Sunday. So you people that put Monday in the comments, if I don't see y'all signing up real soon, I'm switching this shit back to Sunday. But either way it goes, it's either going to be the last Sunday or Monday of June. 5 weeks of music history. And we're going to talk about that. And it's important that you enroll your children in this summer school program because they got to understand the greatness and the lineage of our music and the responsibility our musicians have shouldered going back to Mahalia Jackson and Max Roach, Dizzy Gillespie, and Miles Davis, and Count Basie, and Stevie Wonder, the Tremendous Low, the Furious Five, Public Enemy before they started bullshitting, Ice Cube. Our children got to know what they have and the lineage that they come from and the responsibility they bear with their music to tell society a message about what's going on in society. Don't just use your art to enrich yourself. Enrich yourself while giving us a message. Michael Jackson's the most famous artist of all time, and he's always giving us a message. So a message don't stop you from getting money. It don't stop you from getting fame. It just if you decide to sign up and not do it, it just makes you a lame. Stevie Wonder got a whole Martin Luther King holiday through a song that we all call Happy Birthday now, the black version of Happy Birthday. He got a federal holiday through his music and protests. Prince, Ice Cube. This is within our ability to do and to use. But what's happened since, and it was a great discussion I had yesterday with Mike Robertson. If you didn't see yesterday's show, go check it out. We were talking about the timeline when hip hop really got out of the control of the people and in the control of the corporate entities. And the game came up around that same time, '05, '06. And he came up with a lot of music from the streets, but it was nothing but the streets. Nothing, no real game, no life game. Game on how to get around and play around in the streets. Game on how to play around with non-black women. A lot of game on that. But no real life game on how to deal with the society that we live in. But as you see through his tweet right here, through his post, his Instagram post, maybe he don't have the game to teach us. And these are the artists that the industry promoted in the mid 2000s. Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 Cent. 99.9% of them niggas died trying. You know, Hoes and Clothes. Or I'm a tough guy. The whole tough guy act. I'm a tough guy. This is my thing with, especially you, the California tough guy that's in the entertainment industry, whether it be in podcasting world or the rapping world. Y'all jailhouse niggas, y'all be the ones that tell us. I ain't never been to jail, so I don't know what the fuck go on in there. I only know from people who've been in there. And people who've been in the jail talks about the racial division in prison. What makes you niggas so lame to see what it is? I'm talking about the prison guys. And don't get mad at me. This is just a question that I hope you answer in your mind. And maybe it can deal with some of the poison that's in there. How do you go through that experience in prison, in jail, with the Mexicans on this side, the black people on that side, but still want to come out and be like, yo, nah, man, we all homies. But if a square nigga walked up to you, or a black person from another set, or a black person you just don't recognize, you ready to press them. If another black podcaster say something you don't like, you ready to press them. But y'all get treated like that in jail, and y'all know the rules in jail because y'all been there, and y'all come out like this? I'm speaking to the people who might be mad at what I'm saying, because you niggas is the audience of the game. The people, I'm talking to the niggas that the game is rapping to. And don't get me wrong, Jesus Peace is still in my top 25 albums for the decade of the 2010s. When did that drop? 13, 14, Jesus Peace? I ain't gonna lie. Jesus Peace is in my top 25 albums for that decade. I love that album. But I can love an album and still check some bullshit. Rest in peace, Sly Stone. I don't know why that came behind on the heels of that. But rest in peace, Sly Stone, that just came up in my mind. Rest in peace to the God, to the legend, Sly Stone. But I can like the music and see the game for what it is. So, for you to rap to people who speak on this message of black and brown, we all together, that's a lie. Nigga, you been in jail? Your manager got a goddamn popping ass podcast at Adam 22 and in a popping ass, what do you call that, clubhouse, talking a lot of prison talk. I mean, this screams, please accept me. This is literally tooting your ass up. And I mean it. This is proverbially the game tooting his ass up because he knows what it is. Now, let's break this down line by line. Let's break this down line by line. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Because no, we're not about to let this shit lie. And I'm not going to ignore it because he's a West Coast rapper. So for all you sensitive ass New York soft ass niggas that always get mad at me for going to New York, It's not that I'm going at New York. I'm going at a culture. I'm going at a mindset that prevails out of there. And it prevails other places too. I don't ever go at a whole region. I go at people. You the niggas that like playing region games. And if a West Coast nigga is playing some regional bullshit, he can get it too. Because it's about the greater good of our society. That's why. Not about how an artist's particular song makes me feel. So this is some weirdo shit that he doing right now. So let's go back to the first line. Ever since I could remember, it's been black and brown in this city. No, the fuck it hasn't. Let me tell you something about LA. Let me pull the maps up, all right? Because Game is from Compton, and I'm from South Central. I'm from this side of town, from the 110 and Slauson. I'm from this area right here. You know, the 110 and Slauson. The Game is from Compton. And although I'm not from Compton, I have family that lived in Compton. I spent cool times and portions of my childhood in Compton over here off Alondra and Castlegate. Over off Alondra and Castlegate. Spent a lot of time over there. My cousin Stanley house. I don't know which house, but this is Castlegate. This is the block that I would be on when I was a kid. Not often, but enough. And let me tell you something. First off, Compton back in the 80s when I was over there. And we're talking 88, 89, 90, 91, 87, 92. We talking about when shit was cracking. I ain't talking about gentrified Compton. I'm talking about Compton still 90% nigga Compton. I'm talking about that Compton. And we was not around no Mexicans. I didn't hardly see no Mexicans. The Mexicans were over here in Paramount was still mostly black back then too. But you had some Mexicans and they be over there minding their own fucking business. Mexicans did not mingle with black people. When I say that we weren't with them, it's not like I'm saying that because we better than them or something like that. I'm saying that they didn't mingle with us. Yeah, Cousin Stanley house is further down. Well, I think this was it. Yeah. This was Cousin Stanley house back in the day, right here. And that's right here off Greenleaf. Y'all hear that song by RBX and Dre? Bodies being found on Greenleaf with their heads cut off. Motherfucker, I'm Dre. So listen, this is the Greenleaf he was talking about right here. So you see how close I was to Greenleaf. And I didn't bang. I didn't go out there. I wasn't in that street shit. I let them street niggas go back and forth. I be in the house while they doing that street shit. You dig? And I come outside when the other kids was just playing. And it were black people in all them houses. Black people. You may have saw a Mexican every now and again, but they don't talk to us. Even now, I was walking down my block this morning when I was walking my dog. Mexican dude walked by, like when out here in LA, when black people see each other, it's always an acknowledgement, black men especially. When black men that are from here see each other, there's some kind of acknowledgement of the other's presence. Mexicans don't do that shit. And Game is from over here off this side. Where's that street? I don't know his exact house, but I know the area pretty well. I'm not gonna look all. Let me see, where is it? What's that street? Well, I'm not gonna. But his part of Compton is closer to over here. All right. And anyway, we live in two different worlds in LA. And when it came to high school and middle school and elementary school, we would always have some, but they were the ESL learners, English as a second language, and the ESL kids all huddled together. Mexicans, I remember in my school we had a Mexican and and El Salvadorian. That's when I realized that Mexicans and El Salvadorians didn't get along. I called my little friend, I called my homie Ronald. I called him a Mexican. He was ready to get mad. He got mad. He like, I'm El Salvadorian. I was like, nigga, I'm just now finding out what a Mexican is. I thought you was white. I remember that happened in the third grade. I thought Ronald was white. But then I remember, okay, they do be having Mexican sometimes. So yeah, he's a Mexican. He's like, I am not the Mexican. I was like, huh? But the ESL kids, the Mexicans, the Guatemalans, El Salvadorians, they all sat together in the ESL shit. And when lunch came, they didn't really mingle with us. And then, because Game is a little older than me, we're around the same age group, because it started to change a lot as we got older. But at the age group the Game is, we going around that same time. Now I will tell you this: in high school, when they started to get numbers, you started to see them goddamn race riots. Why ain't Game bring that up? Long Beach Poly, when you started getting to the late '90s, and they're getting their numbers up. Dominguez, Long Beach Poly, over here in Lakewood, it was a whole lot of race riots. Over at Lusinger or Russell Westbrook with the high school. Russell Westbrook with the high school over here at Lusinger. Right here. Back in the 90s, when they started getting their numbers up here in Hawthorne, race riots. See, I went to Westchester. We was like 98, we was like 99%, 97% black at Westchester High School. See, I was around all niggas, so we didn't have no goddamn race riots over here. Our multicultural day was switching up from hip hop to play some old school R&B. That was our multicultural day at Westchester. So we didn't have no race riots. But them people in them neighborhoods like Centennial, Jordan, when the Mexicans started flooding in the 90s, they was having race riots. The fuck is he talking about? These are facts. We were having race riots in them schools in the 90s. Every time every time the Mexican population got just a little above the black population, race riots. Everybody was cool when black people had the numbers or the numbers were equal. Everybody was cool. But like over here, like at Garfield High, like over here when you started to get up, when they started to really get the numbers in Linwood and over here in Downey, when they started to get the numbers over here on the east side, and they had the numbers, right? This is where all the Mexicans was at that time in the 80s and the 90s. This is where they had the big numbers, and there were scant amounts of black people. Man, all these schools was having race riots. All the black kids getting called nigga. This is the 90s, yo. And it got worse in the 2000s. In my years working with kids, I had this one kid that I worked with. They lived up here. And when they went to this school, they went to one of these schools over here. And the place that they lived is no longer there. It got knocked down. It needed to be. They went to this school right here. And the mom told the son, don't ever trust black people. Don't ever listen to black people. Well, that kid ended up trusting me, and then later on told me that his mom knew who molested him as a child, and she didn't do nothing about it. And so he didn't trust her. And I was the one that helped that little young man get some help and get some justice. So I know what goes on in your family. I've helped a lot of Latino families out, and I've never given a Latino family any less love and care than I gave a black family. When I go into helping people, I don't see race when it's time to help. When I had a job helping folks, if your insurance qualified for my company that I work with at the time, and you can come in white, black, I don't play them games with kids. You know what I mean? But being like that, I had a lot of kids from a lot of different races open up to me. And this is a problem in LA. I wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't. This is a problem. And it's a problem that I want solved. That's why I'm talking about it. And when you get these gang goofy niggas over here saying this shit with a big voice, lying to the people, what does that do to fix the situation? What does that do to fix the situation? Nothing. Only thing it does is it gets a few more Mexicans to buy tickets to your concerts and to your shows. These niggas is goofy, but this is the same dude that didn't show up in court and now damn lost his house. Because he was doing goofy shit back then, fighting people, doing dumb shit. Goofy. And now this man's situation ain't what it should be, because I don't like seeing people lose their shit, man. That gotta be a fucked up feeling to lose your house, man. I didn't want to see that man lose his house. Just because I don't like the way the dude move politically don't mean I want to see a motherfucker fall short. That gotta feel like shit. But it happened over some goofy shit. Just goofy. Fucking with people. Not leaving people alone. What's my number one rule, chat room? Leave people alone. No, goofy is calling yourself knowledge, but coming in my chat room talking, sounding like a bitch. That's goofy. You care more about what I think, because you're in my chat room running your mouth. You care. You know, damn me and everybody else, you care. That's why you wrote that comment. Now sit your goofy clown ass down. Back to what we talking about. This is the goofy shit that goes on. So then he says, from the early days of my childhood till now, we've been side by side through it all. Nigga, when? What? When the fuck? What? What? Hold on. When were we side by side when this happened? Damn him, he's with the blacks. I covered this story when it happened because this is real. 2022. This is what happened. Basically, in this illegal, it was an illegal closed door meeting in the city council. 3 Latinos of the city council got together to form against the tax revenue over here in the Lamert Park area. I know this area very well. This area I grew up outside of growing up east of the 110. I also grew up right over here in the Crenshaw district. Spent 50-50 time. And our councilman was Councilman Nate Holden. And this is the park I learned how to play basketball at, Rancho Cienega. The jungles are right here for those who want to know what the infamous jungles are. This is where right here, this is the Jays. Well, in that meeting that they had, USC, as you see here, University of Southern California, this was in the district for the Mert Park for the Black District. This is a heavy revenue tax base for this one of the last black districts in LA. This is one of the last black strongholds in LA, right here in this area. So what they were voting on, mind you, USC student housing is now moved over here. And the gentrification of the jungles, most of it has to do with now, a lot of this is now student housing for USC. A lot of the J's is student housing for USC. Well, I don't know what the fuck happened there. That was the wrong area. Let me show y'all. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's go down to Santa Rosalia. You see this? You see these gentrified apartments right here? Student housing, USC. They gentrifying the shit out of the jungles. And what they did right here was, because y'all know TMZ, Harvey Levin? Harvey Levin used to own, from what I had understood, his company, a company he was with, investment group that he was with, they owned it like back in like 2018, 17. They own like 50 some odd apartment buildings here in the jungles. And then now, streets like Buckingham right here, they're now, all this shit right now is moving from where black folks live, and then black folks is getting kicked out for now USC student housing. That's what's going on. So at least USC, with the gentrifying the area, at least with all that money it brought in, its tax revenue was going to support this area. Well, what Nuri Martinez and those Latino Congress folks did, city council folks, what happened when they got together and had that closed door meeting, what they did was effectively take USC out of this black district and take its tax base and put it over here in downtown where the Mexicans live. That's racism. Calling me a nigga is just an opinion. Fuck your opinion. You didn't create jazz, so I don't care about your opinion. But where racism has always hurt black people was the access of wealth and resources. What white supremacy has done was effectively separate us from resources. And that's how we stay on this treadmill and not getting justice. We stay on this treadmill of lacking resources. And you had 3 Mexican city council folks get together and take the resources from my fucking neighborhood. I don't bang, nigga. I pay taxes. See, that's what happened when you all niggas, my block, I bang. Nigga, fuck all that. I pay taxes. Now, my goddamn taxes that my parents still pay, because they still live in that area. Now, the tax revenue that comes back to that area is gone because they want to play racial hierarchy games. And we got some jive-ass rapper that ain't told us shit about nothing politically, saying, man, we all come together. Man, nigga, please. Nigga, please. How long we been together? I was just having this conversation with Dr. Short yesterday on Patreon. When the riots happened in LA, going back to the riots, my neighborhood got burned down. My neighborhood got burned down during the riots. I saw what the fuck happened. This was my elementary school right here. Coliseum Elementary. This was my elementary school. And I got to see this 7-Eleven right here. I saw this shit burn down. This whole this whole shopping center burned down when I was a kid. My neighborhood got burned down like the shit wasn't hyperbole. I wasn't a gang member. I was a citizen. I had parents that owned their house that paid fucking property taxes for their house. And all this shit. This used to be a shopping center called Sunnyside Market. Got burned down. All this shit got burned down in my neighborhood. And it needed to happen. Why did it need to happen? I'm not mad that it happened. I'm glad that it happened. Because my mom used to attend city council meetings with City Councilman Nate Holden, rest in peace. Nate Holden just died last month. Rest in peace, Nate Holden. But I got 1,000 viewers, 400 likes. I gotta get double that. Double them likes up. But I wasn't banging. I let them niggas that was banging do the banging. I didn't bang. My mama had me at every quarter city councilman Nate Holden had meetings. And in front of our house, down our block, we all had these trees that was fucking up the plumbing. And now we couldn't get our trees removed. Over here on Crenshaw, I lived over here in this area right here. And I played basketball, football. I played the drums. I was a very active kid. I love my parents. My parents had me very involved. You know, every nigga ain't from the streets, even though we was forced to live around you hood niggas. Nigga, my childhood was lovely. But I played basketball here. And I played a little bit of tennis too sometimes. The Williams sisters used to be on this tennis court. I remember them with their braids. In the late 80s, sometimes the Williams sisters would play here. And this used to be a swimming pool right here. It used to be a swimming pool right here. They leveled that motherfucker. So I played sports here. Why the fuck did we have to drive way over goddamn here to Culver City to get to a Big Five Sporting Goods? Where's Sepulveda? Right here. Nigga, we have to drive way the fuck over here to get to Big Five. It was like a 15, 20-minute drive. There was nothing, no resources in that neighborhood. We had to drive way the fuck over here to Big Five to get some shit. And that means you had to go through Culver City and deal with them old racist ass Culver City PD. And if you know LA, you know the Culver City PD ain't shit. So my dad had to take penitentiary chances because he just finished smoking a blunt to take me to go pick up a new basketball. Why? Because we had no fucking resources over here. We were in Councilman Nate Holden's meetings every quarter, and we need a Big Five Sporting Goods. We need a Circuit City. We need a Target. We need something. Because they didn't have shit over here but gun shops, liquor stores, and nigga shit up and down Crenshaw. The Baldwin Hills Mall wasn't shit. They never had the right sizes for nothing. The Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza wasn't shit. If you from LA, you did not come to this motherfucker. And I'm so goddamn LA. My uncle actually helped build this right here. My uncle helped construct these back in the 1940s. That's how long I've been in LA. My uncle helped build this back in the 1940s. And so we couldn't go to that mall because that mall wasn't shit. If you from South Central, nigga, you went to the Fox Hills Mall. We coming over here to the Fox Hills Mall. Fuck a Westfield. This is the Fox Hills Mall. Why? Because it wasn't shit. When them riots happened, though, everything my mom was asking Councilman Nate Holding for before 1992, we got. Them riots, yeah, a lot of shit burned down, but it burned down because we was fighting and wasn't nobody fucking listening, and there wasn't no goddamn black and brown coalition fighting with us. All this shit got built. There's a Big Five over there, back there, somewhere in the back. These resources came after we burned this motherfucker down. It took the riots for that shit to happen. There was no black and brown unity. They weren't fighting alongside with us. It was just us in them fucking meetings. And then black folks and the riots happened. The riots started on a Wednesday night, Wednesday afternoon, when Red Zone Denny got his ass beat. Black folks rioted Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, and somewhat into Thursday night. By Thursday night, black people were done. The riots got extended into Friday and Saturday because that's when the Mexicans came out like, oh, we got some free shit. And then one of the Catholic archdioceses had to condemn a lot of the Mexicans for just going out and rioting because they were like, yo, y'all wasn't fighting with them black folks. Y'all just going to get free shit. They weren't side by side. They were just getting free shit. Saying, oh, they killed Martin Luther King. No, nigga, they beat up Rodney King. Wrong King, Jose. Oh my God, yeah, we're out here because they beat up Rodney Jerkins. No, nigga, Rodney King, not Rodney Jerkins. This nigga lying his ass off. We're not always seeing eye to eye, but we shared Los Angeles for a long time. Let me tell you another story. When my family moved to LA in the 1930s, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can eyeball the street. My family moved here in the 1930s, right? Where is that? Trinity. Here's Trinity Street right here. This is now like the Carnation family factory. We're not school now. Where's that Carnation place? It's off Jefferson and Trinity. It's somewhere right here off Trinity. Is it Jefferson? It's off Trinity. But let me tell you the story while I'm looking for the place. My family lived over here. Moved over here in the 1930s. This is where black folks were forced to live back in the 1930s. My family moved over here. And what ended up happening is as the 80s came, as the 70s came and the 80s came, black people started moving out from over here. Black people stopped living over here as the 70s and 80s came. Black people started moving from over here to moving west. Black folks went from over in that area to over here in this area. My family moved from over there to in the 1950s, they settled over here off Florence and Normandy where the riots started. Florence and Western. This is where my family ended up moving to this side of town. Well, anyway, there were some people who were still left on the block. Although my family had moved from over there, we ran across one of our old neighbors. My mom, I wasn't born yet. I mean, I was born by the time this happened. But we ran across her neighbor. I remember hearing this story like 1996, 97. As they moved out, Mexicans started moving in. And there was one black family left on this block in like 1997. There was one black family left on this block, 97. Do you know that Mexicans firebombed that house? Those black folks have been dealing with, nigger, you need to move. The police didn't do nothing about it. And they ended up firebombing them black folks out their house. This is 1997. So what the fuck is the game talking about? Let's go a step deeper. Oh, I got a whole lot to talk about today. I got a whole lot to talk about. Where is it? Where is it? I just reorganized my office and so everything ain't where it should be. Let me see if I can find this. There was a article, there was a report that was done here in LA. and it was about there was a reparations study done, and it was a basically. Uh, Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. I have the actual report, but it's somewhere in my other files. God damn it! I didn't know I was going to talk about that today. Okay, in 2024, it was a report done on all the harms that black people face here in LA. And do you know that black people, the number one aggressor towards black residents in LA from the LAPD was Latino police officers. LAPD is mostly Mexican, and they now have non-documented, non-legal. I mean, they're legal, but they have non-citizen LAPD officers now. People who came in through DACA, who came here illegally. They're now on the LAPD police force. Do you know that there was a report done, and it said the majority of the violence that black citizens face is from Latino police officers? This report dropped like 6 months ago. Do you know that? When it comes to hiring practice, Latinos are least likely to hire black people in city jobs, construction jobs, and corporate jobs. We are the least likely to be hired in jobs where they're the people hiring. Do you know that? Now, I ain't talking about some rap shit. I ain't talking about your street homie, nigga. I'm talking about where the rubber meets the road, getting jobs. Do you know the fucking hell in racism construction dealer? Every black person I know that was doing construction in the 90s, in the 2000s, they either quit construction or they moved to a different state because of the hell that they facing on work, the racist hell that they're facing at work. Let's go even deeper, nigga. What about black people being the most victimized to hate crimes in Los Angeles, although only being 6% of the population, with the majority of the aggressors being white and Latino? That's now. This isn't some old shit. This is what I mean by rap, by the artists of today being so out of touch. How are you this out of touch and you're an artist? Maybe that's why your art ain't resonating like that. Because it's out of touch with the reality of what's going on. It's out of touch. You can't just let nobody slide because they're in your city. Wrong is wrong, and this nigga wrong. We have not shared LA. LA's always been you over here and I'm over there. And individually, we all got people we cool with. We all got homies. We all got people we love. But just because I got a friend here and a friend there, that doesn't take away from the truth. Hell, I rent to Latino citizens, and they good by me. They good by me. I rent to Latinos. You dig? Most of my tenants are black, but I'm not gonna be like them and be on some racist shit. They qualify you in. I treat them fair. That doesn't change what's really going on, though. Uh, God bless Kendrick for bailing out hip hop. Real talk, brilliant bang. Appreciate the super chat. Cisco Bill says, thank you as always for teaching truth about calling up all cold goofy nonsense. Yeah, I appreciate that, Cisco. Nah, man, I can't be going around acting like the West is just perfect. Oh yeah, no, the West is just perfect. Everything goes right in the West. That's that goofy shit niggas do. That's goofy too. If everybody called out his own region for bullshit, everybody around the rest of the country wouldn't have to call out the other regions. You gotta know how to check your region when your region on some bullshit. And this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. You good, Rocky? Rocky ain't this some bullshit. Hey, Rocky, tell me. Rocky like, man, look. Rocky like, man, this some bullshit. Ain't some bullshit, Rocky? That's some bullshit. These niggas be on that shit, Rock. Nah, I don't kiss dogs. Nah, I do not kiss dogs. Rocky know that. He don't try to lick me. Dogs be licking their nuts, man. I ain't kissing no motherfucking dog. That's some goofy shit, too. Kissing a dog. Shit. I love my little nigga, but I ain't kissing him. Hell no. To the no. Let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So, when Tupac wrote that line, we might fight against each other, but I promise you this, we'll burn this bitch down if you get us pissed. That was the perspective of somebody who ain't from here. And that was also written at a time, 1994, 95. No, Machiavelli 96. That line was written at a time black people were still the majority in LA. Unless you were in East LA, if you were black, you weren't seeing this kind of tension at that time because we had the numbers. If you're like an entertainer like Tupac. Now, if you're in high school, you're seeing the race riots in high school. But if you're a transplant coming in to South Central LA, 92, 93, 94, you're still dealing with a majority black population. So at the time Tupac wrote that, it wasn't as much of this bullshit going on because they didn't have the numbers. It was going on in areas they had the numbers, but Tupac would have never been in East LA for any reason. Tupac would have never been in Boyle Heights or Bell Gardens or Maywood and these places where they were Highland Park. Tupac would have, as a transplant, I can promise you 100,000%, he was never in Highland Park where they are. He was never east of downtown. Tupac was in Compton. He was around the black neighborhood, Crenshaw. It wasn't. It was. There was every now. So when the numbers were like that, when Tupac wrote that line, hell yeah, everybody was cool. Mexicans wasn't tripping on us like that because they didn't have the numbers. The tripping comes when they get the numbers. That's when the tripping comes. You would not have seen them. We were segregated. LA is a very segregated city. Don't let the game play that Spike Lee shit. Like he said, Spike Lee did a whole goddamn movie on the segregation within New York. And then now a few years later want to say, oh, we was all together. No, the fuck you wasn't. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up if y'all here and please share. The nigga lying. So we gotta bring context. We gotta bring context. Where Tupac was, first off, let me tell you where Tupac was living. When Tupac was with Death Row Records, let me show you where he was living. He was at the Broadcast Center Apartments. If you're ever here in LA, this is where Tupac lived at the time that he died. Where we at? That's Venice. Nope, need to go up more. Where's Fairfax? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is where Tupac lived at the time he died. All right. So when Tupac wrote that line, only time you saw Mexicans over here is when they was the bus boys. No, not there, not there, not there. Let me show you. Where's that Irvine? Where's that Irvine store? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Broadcast Center Apartments, right here. This is where Tupac lived at the time he died. Right here. Tupac lived on Beverly, and I forgot the name of this little small ass street he's on. But Tupac lived on Beverly Boulevard, Beverly in the Grove. Why is this called the Broadcast Center Apartments? Because CBS Studios is right behind it in the Grove. This is where they film. This CBS Studios. This is where they film Real Time with Bill Maher. This is where they film The Price is Right. This is where they film a lot of those game shows. Were filmed here. Price is Right. All that shit filmed right here. So Tupac was living on the backside of where The Price is Right is filmed. He didn't see no goddamn Mexicans. This was all white back then. The only time you saw because black people were still like the service staff. You know, at this time in LA, 95, 96, black people were still your checkout people. Black people are still the people working out front. The Mexicans had the bus jobs in the back, and they barely. And if you saw them on this side of town, it's a good chance they didn't speak English. So when Tupac wrote that line, he lived in a completely different LA. He lived over there. The black people lived over here, Crenshaw District. Everything south of the 10. This is all black at that time. 95, 96. All this south of Venice. This is all black. All black. You had like little Mexican pockets right up here by USC. You had some little Mexican pockets up there. But you didn't really start seeing Mexicans at that time until you got east of the 110 freeway. This is when you saw them a lot, started seeing them over there. You did not at that time see them much in Compton either. Way down here. So this is the LA that he's talking about. We've always been together. No, the fuck we haven't. Then in the 90s, and they started coming into Inglewood and Hawthorne a little bit. And that's why you had race riots over here at Losinger High School, because they were coming into Hawthorne. And so what makes this even more offensive is we've been in a California, shouts out to Friday Jones, shouts out to she gonna be so mad at me for drawing a blank to her name. She calls in all the time. She calls in all the time in this show, and I am just drawing a blank to her name. You know who I'm talking about, you. I hate when I draw blanks to people's names at critical moments. But she calls it Dana. Dana, they're at these reparations rallies. We've been having like a lot of because California reparations has been on the line since 2021 here in LA, in California. We've had a lot of meetings. There's CJEC, and we've been having these in-person meetings. And we haven't been asking for celebrity support, but we can use it. We weren't asking the game or rappers because we don't depend on these niggas for nothing, but we could use it. Let's see if he had anything to say about reparations in California. Has been a hot button topic for about 5 years now. Let's see if anything's on the topic. I'm talking about local. Beautiful family. Beautiful. And that's what makes it even worse about it. Reparations is going to be to help everybody out. That's going to help all black people. So I don't see anything about reparations. Don't see anything about what we've been going through as a people. I don't see nothing about nothing. And that's fine. Everybody's not going to be political. Everybody's not going to be political. That's fine. But when you do decide to get political, it's for this. when the biggest settlements in California history have been Latino against black racism. Do y'all know that? See, another thing that I do here in LA is I do anti-racism training. And I've done it for some pretty big companies I don't name because that business that I have over there, I don't conflate it with what I do on the internet. But I'm really in these streets. I do corporate trainings on anti-racism, anti-black racism. And the majority of the anti-black racism I have to deal with is Latino on black. That's a fact. That's a fact. People call me, corporations call me to help settle racial differences. Too often, Latino against black. Hold on, Rocky. As my little nigga Rocky walk around the house. This is what's going on in corporate America now. And I'm having this conversation because I do want to fix it. But the only way it gets fixed is if we tell the truth about where we at. We can't lie ourselves into healing anything. Healing comes through truth. And while they're facing ICE protests, they got to understand. The Latino community got to understand, can't nobody save them. And you niggas got to understand, your stupid ass can't save them either. These are people who voted in the president that's doing this to them. Even if I wanted to help, what the fuck can I say? This is being done by the administration that they wanted. What can I say? In California, 38% of Latinos back Trump. In Texas, 55%. This is a group that has to go through its own ethnogenesis. They have to decide what they want. Hold on, Rocky over here. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this dog real quick. Give me like 1 minute. Give me like 1 second. Come here, she gone. She went to the store, buddy boy. Come on. All that hollering and shit. You done already had your walk. You done already walked. You done already shit. You done already walked and you done already shit. Rocky, come on. What that for? This little nigga be wanting attention, boy. This little nigga be wanting attention. He like, you talking too much. Well, we got a little bit longer, Rocky, then I'm gonna give you some attention. He look for my wife. But this is a group, they gotta decide what they want. Do you want to be white? Do you want to be Mexican and take the country back from what you feel has been taken from you? And I can't tell anybody you shouldn't feel however you feel. They should feel however they want to feel. But it's nothing we as black people can do. That's a fight that they got to have amongst themselves. They got to have a come to Jesus meeting. Because if they voted in a 90% block the way black people do nationwide, then there was a chance Biden could have won. They have a family fight that they have to work out. that we can't control, we can't do nothing about. I know we are trying to save people. I get it. It's part of our nature. But you can't save everybody. And you definitely can't save people from themselves. Sign up for my music summer school here at DewanB.com. Link is in the description and pinned at the top of the chat. But back to what we were saying, you can't do anything. Like, we as black people, we went through our ethnogenesis back 100 years ago when we was leaving the rural plantations and going to Chicago, Detroit, and LA. We had our Renaissance period. It wasn't just a Harlem Renaissance. We had a Renaissance here in LA. We had a Renaissance in Oakland and Houston, and everywhere black people lived, there was a Renaissance. And we had to go through an ethnogenesis and redefine what it meant to be black. And to redefine our relationship with this government that we live in. And all them uppity niggas that had been living in the North before black people got there, they realized all that uppity shit wasn't working. All them mulatto niggas in Louisiana realized, okay, this mulatto, Melungeon, and Creole shit is cool, and we might play this shit amongst ourselves, but in real life, nah, I'm black. All the Melungeons, the Octoroons, the mulattoes, the people who were still classified as Indian, the Negroes, the good Negroes, farmers, they all had to realize, hey, we can't really be fighting each other over this shit like that, man. Maybe if we got a little bit of free time, we can get into a little bit of a scuffle. But we gotta get on code together, and we did. But that happened at a time that was divinely ordained. And they're going to get their wake up. They're going to have that ethnogenesis when it's their time. I'm not racist against Mexicans at all or any other group. But the United States is a very complicated place. And these people have to understand the time, context, and place of the United States and decide where they're going to stand. Because as long as they decide to stand, because what's happening with them is they play three-card Monte with race. They're Indian, Taino when it comes to their pride. Viva Mexico! Their driver's license and classification is white. But when it comes to culture and good times, they're black. We listen to hip-hop. Them niggas like war. You know what I mean? They like Ice Cube, The Game. So they play this three-card Monte with race and jump in whatever category fits them conveniently at the time it fits them. That never has worked in America. When the Irish and the Germans and all these other groups came to America, they had to decide who they were. People like Donald Trump. His family name is Drumpf. That's a stupid ass name. Drumpf. I see why he changed that dumb ass last name. But he changed it from Drumpf to Trump. You know, people, number one, Nicholas, you're Nick. All of those names, people cut them third and fourth syllables off their names, them white folks. Them white folks cut the third and fourth syllables off their name in the 1920s and 30s, and they Americanized themselves. Now, within white society, they know the hierarchy. They understand the Irish know that they still ain't shit within white society. You know, the Germans know still got the Germans and the British, they both hate the French. And they have all kind of games that they play amongst one another. But they know that they whiten themselves. And when it comes to how they face the world as white Americans. Their German background don't matter anymore. Their Irish background, their Greek background, their British background, all that shit goes by the wayside when it's time to talk about America. Now, when we're not around, they go back into all the rest of them white folks, so especially the Irish, they know that the Anglo-Saxon the Anglo-Saxon Protestant, he the head honcho within white society. Anglo-Saxon white Protestants, the WASPs, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. He head honcho in white hierarchy. The Germans are pretty high up there. They all hate the French. The Spanish are considered white Negroes because they got too much Moorish blood in them, you dig? But when it comes down to their society, they cut off all them ethnic differences to be American. And that's not a sacrifice that the Latino community has undergone yet. So the rest of these immigrants don't respect you. I'm just telling you the truth. The reason why they're white, because the white people are immigrants too. Like when y'all say, oh yeah, the country was built by immigrants, there's a place for immigrants, yeah. It is a place for immigrants, yeah. But you have to understand the sacrifices that white folks went through if you want them to respect you. See, black folks, we out of this shit. We ain't fighting. And that's why the game is so goddamn goofy. The fuck are you doing, nigga? Sit your ass down. And if you don't let these people fight and get the fuck out the way, we had to sit back and allow the gangs in New York to play their shit out. Because what happens when they're all done fighting? They come together against black people. We were going through the same shit as black people in the 1890s during the populist rebellion. The populist party of the late 1880s into the 1890s, that's when they got a hodgepodge of ethnics because the Irish, the Greeks, the Dutch, these were considered ethnics. They weren't white yet. They were ethnics. And so all these ethnic whites were banding together with black people and created a party called the Populist Party. Teddy Roosevelt, after he left and tried to come back and run again, he tried to run on a Populist Party ticket. The Populist Party was benefiting black people, and then white folks got mad. So in 1898 in Wilmington, black folks became the mayor and got all the seats in Wilmington. Them white folks revolted so goddamn fast and had a massacre. They gave the black people like 2 days to get out. Only ended up giving them a couple hours. The governor didn't send the National Guard, and all the black folks, they were sitting in trees with guns, picking black people off, leaving, trying to run out of Wilmington, because we duly elected a government, and we had cooperation with some whites. So they broke that shit up, and they gave the white people just a few more dollars than us, and they said, fuck you niggas. Now they still dealt with hell, the Irish. They still dealt with the Italians. They still have to deal with hell from the Anglo-Saxon. But they'd rather deal with that hell and be considered white and band together with them than fuck with us. But when they considered themselves white, they whitened their names. They got rid of their accent. They stopped holding on to the old country. They didn't fly the flag of their own country unless it was a fucking Italian deli. And that came later. They wouldn't do that shit back in the then. They wouldn't fly, not once they got accepted into white. No, what? Once these people got accepted into being white, they wasn't doing no European nothing. So the people you want to be like, you're not taking on the ethnic sacrifice that they took on. You're not changing your name from Rodriguez to Richard. Well, former governor, rest in peace, Bill Richardson, he did, former governor of New Mexico. But that's why he became the governor of New Mexico. Bill Richardson changed his name to Bill Richardson. As long as you're willing to hold on to your Latino pride, you're only going to be used as leverage against us. You're never going to get fully accepted by white folks. Because you haven't gone through the racial sacrifice that they went through. And they see that. So you're only going to be used as pawns against us. So you got to decide, do you want to be the permanent pawn against black people? Be cool with that? And if that's what they decide, they're going to have to face this Donald Trump treatment every 8 to 12 years. Every 8 to 16 years, it's going to be a new president. After Trump leaves, it's going to be somebody else. A Democrat, after Trump leaves, a Democrat might get elected, and y'all going to have like 4 years apiece. And in that 4 years apiece, you're going to have to decide what you want to be on. Because if you go back to how you worked on the Biden administration, then another Trump is going to come along and give you motherfuckers the same treatment. But either way it goes, that's not our fight. That is not our fight. That is not our fight. They were brought here to displace us, to take our jobs, and then the liberals play this game. Oh no, they take jobs that nobody wants. Man, I wouldn't mind being a cashier when I was in my 20s. Do y'all remember question number one? Remember back in the 80s and the 90s, cashiers owned homes? You could be a cashier at Ralph's grocery store and own a house. The grocery union was strong back in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s. Back in the 80s, you could bag groceries and pay your way through college. Press the number one if you remember that. You would go to the store and you would see somebody bag groceries while they was in school. All of my professors are always about bagging groceries and paying their way through college. You could literally bag groceries and pay your way through college. What happened? You could drive a forklift and make it easy $10 an hour back in the mid-90s. $10 an hour was the shit. Man, you 20 years old? $10 an hour? I just get this forklift certification? Warehouse jobs? All the niggas that was named Devontae that got in trouble at school and didn't learn nothing, didn't pay attention, he could at least get a warehouse job. All the kids that went to that other school, y'all remember the continuation school? It was the campus on school, and then there was that building behind the gate. All the kids that was in the building behind the gate could at least work at a fucking warehouse in the 80s. And they didn't have to sell drugs if they didn't want to. Because they could at least work in the warehouse. What happened? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. 40 million people jumped that wall. And one by one, jobs that were paying $10 an hour to drive a forklift, are we in a warehouse? Ain't nobody gonna check. I'm gonna pay Peppy $2.25 an hour to drive the same forklift. Bye, nigga. Oh, grocery store workers making enough money to buy houses? All right. On one end, we're gonna work to bust these unions up. On the other end, one by one, we're gonna hire new people. And they're gonna come in. They're not gonna really be able to speak English, but that's fine. You niggas, we're not gonna put them in white neighborhoods yet. At the time, it'd have been too abrupt to put them in white neighborhoods in the 90s. So we're only gonna put them in black neighborhoods. These black people are gonna complain, but what are they gonna do? They still gonna come back and buy groceries from us because they don't have their own fucking grocery stores. And job by job, boom. Now the grocery store workers don't get paid like they used to. My dad was a truck driver, food delivery. My dad made good money in the 80s. Why did my dad make less money in the mid 90s than he did in the mid 80s? Why? Because one by one, as black folks retired, left jobs, okay, we taking them. Are these truck drivers getting $25 an hour? And we in the 90s, they getting $25? Shit, okay. All right. Now we can't, they need a driver's license, so I can't get an illegal. So I got to at least get one to get a driver's license. But I can pay him $11.25 an hour. And they'll take it. So job by job, they were coming and replacing. In the 90s and the We had all the county clerk jobs, all the Department of Motor Vehicle jobs, all the courthouse jobs, the city jobs were occupied by black people, mostly black women. Black folks in general, but mostly by black women. Now we go to the. How the fuck did I go to the Department of Motor Vehicles and I couldn't understand what the fuck the lady behind the thing was saying? And she could barely speak English. And not that she wasn't Mexican, this one was Asian. But what happens is when they get the job and they become supervisor, they don't hire black people. That's why it's goofy shit this nigga's talking. This is the reality that black people who are not in the entertainment industry have to deal with. I've had these conversations with folks in the entertainment industry. They on some other shit. I'm not gonna out this one dude, but he was talking about how we gotta fight for them because my housekeeper. I mean, I know our family real well. We've had the same housekeeper for 20 years, and hey, they do these jobs that black people don't want to do. You can't listen to these niggas in the entertainment industry because they don't see it. They're not around it. The entertainment industry niggas, let me tell you where they live. Let me tell you exactly where these niggas live. Us day-to-day folks live down here. We south of the 10. This is where we are, right in this area. It used to be in the 70s and the 60s, black entertainers with money would move to Baldwin Hills and View Park and Ladera Heights. See, back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, your black entertainers lived over here. You know what I mean? This is still for the most part a black neighborhood, but it's changing rapidly. They coming in real white over there now. But like here, this is where black folks live. I'm gonna give you an example. Bedford Ave. My wife grew up over here on Bedford. This street. This is where my wife grew up. Over here on Bedford, you had, where is it? Here. This house here. This was City Councilman Julian Dixon. The City Councilman, no, he lived right here. The City Councilman lived right here. In this house has since been knocked down and replaced. This is where Gerald Busby used to live, the president of Motown. When Gerald Busby was the president of Motown, he lived here. City Councilman lived here. Ken Norton Jr., the football player, he lived somewhere in one of these houses. This is where black folks live. Byron Scott lived over in this area. Byron Scott lived over here in Lower Ladera on Bedford. But this is where the black entertainers moved in the 70s and the 80s and the 60s. That's why they were still in touch, because they were here, but they were shut off Slauson. Ray Charles's house. If you watch the movie Ray, and you want to see Ray Charles's house on the movie Ray, you see, that's Park Glen. He's on South Ridge. This is where Ray Charles lived. In those days, the black entertainers still lived around one another. This is Ray Charles's house. He bought two houses and put these two houses together. If you ever watched the movie Ray, this is where Ray Charles lived. This is the actual house right here. All black neighborhood. This is where black people live. Now, you know where the niggas move? Calabasas. Now you tell me, what the fuck do somebody who lived over here for the last decade know about what's going on down here with the people if he ain't reading the paper? What do he know? The entertainers in LA, all them niggas move out here to the valley. If they got money, they live in Calabasas or Sherman Oaks or Studio City. If they don't have money, if they came out here to LA to make it, they don't have money yet, they live over here in NoHo, North Hollywood. This is where the entertainers move to. So all the niggas you see on goddamn TikTok talking about LA this, LA that, these niggas live out here, way out in this hot ass valley. This is where the entertainers with no money live. And they also live over here in Porter Ranch. Way the fuck up here in Porter Ranch. A lot of entertainers and celebrities live behind these walls in Porter Ranch. Behind this gate. So the people that you often hear, your favorite rappers, your favorite entertainers, in this Renaissance community, this is one of the main spots right here. I know a few people that live up in here. I'm not gonna say their name. You see what kind of money they got. They ain't got the street. Let me see. You got the street view? Oh, they got. So yeah, you see what kind of money they got. They ain't even got the street view of their places. But this is where the folks with money, they live up in here. And behind these gates. Look at how far that is from where the people that are dealing with the day-to-day bullshit went. Oh, say what's up to me. And I know about this valley. Why? Because this is where I graduated fucking college, Cal State Northridge. So I know the dynamics up there because that's where I went to goddamn college. And I still be. I got friends. I visit people out here all the time. But them niggas, that's why Kendrick on that song, Dodger Blue, said, don't say you from the land if you ain't spent time south of the 10. This is what Kendrick means. Them niggas live up here. Whack 100, when they say he's from Sylmar, this is Sylmar. This is Sylmar. This is where the gang's managers from live. Well, not lives, where he was from. You see how the fuck far that is from South Central? With no traffic, that's a 45-minute drive with no traffic. 35, 45 minutes. On a normal day, 2 hours. But LA's a massive city, so it's still big. But on a normal day, these niggas live 2 hours from where the shit's happening. And they want to talk about some unity. There ain't no goddamn unity. It would be dope if it was, but it's not. Yeah, Wax from Pacoima. Pacoima, Sylmar, same shit. It's all. I'm really from South Central. To us, it's all the same shit. Pacoima, Sylmar, I let them niggas fight it out. Either way it go, it's way the fuck up here. Let's see. Tams Compton. Tams Compton. Directions. Look at the time. 42 miles, hour and a half. 2 by bus. That's how far that shit is. Yeah. And these are the people talking about LA politics saying that we all get along. Not cool, people. Not cool being this goofy with all this shit that we have going on in this country. I want to fix this, man. But you can't fix it playing games. You can't have true black and brown unity without telling the fucking truth. Look at this. to get from Calabasas to the Marathon store, if you left right now, would take you an hour and 10 minutes. It will take you an hour and 10 minutes to get to the Marathon store if it were still open. This is when Nipsey got killed, right here. Take you an hour and 10 minutes if you left right now. And that's now, traffic is good now. If you leave at 4, 2 hours. If you leave at 4 o'clock, 2 hours. So this is the conversation that I'm having today. No, Mexicans did not live here before anybody else. Indigenous people lived here before anybody else. Blaze your face. Mexicans did not. Mexicans are colonized people. You fucking idiot. If they speak Spanish, that just means the Spanish got to them before the Anglo-Saxons. Indigenous people that did not speak Spanish lived here. That's the Mojave, and the Mojave are darker than me. That's the Ohlone. They're my skin color. Mexicans did not live here. Mexico owned California for 27 years. But they were already conquered by the Spanish and the missions. That was a colony of Spain. They were still an invading force. If they speak Spanish and they're Catholic, they're invaders. Indigenous people did not speak Spanish nor worship the Catholic Church. You fucking dummy. They're not. And the Mexicans that were here, y'all know who Pio Pico is? Pico Boulevard? This is one of the first mayors of LA. Where did he go? Here we go. Pio Pico. Look at them. This is the Mexicans we was talking about. This is Pio Pico. These are the Mexicans that was here. Nigga. Stop repeating cliches somebody taught you and learn the shit for yourself. Raise adobe? Nigga, what? Francisco Reyes, the last governor of Alta California, lived out here. Where's that street? There's still a street named after him over here in the Hidden Hills called Reyes Adobe. And his house is still out here. It's somewhere out here off the 101. Reyes Adobe. Here it is. Reyes Adobe. So even when we're talking about the Mexicans, we ain't talking about the ones you see now. We ain't talking about the ones you see now. The ones you see now just came over here in the last 40 years in large numbers. They were always over here in East LA. You always had a pocket of Mexicans over here. Boyle Heights, East LA. Now this area, even going back to the 60s, Whittier Boulevard, this is their Crenshaw. Whittier Boulevard is their Crenshaw. Like we low right on Crenshaw. They low ride over here on Whittier Boulevard. This area here is historically Mexican. Right here. Over here. Way over here. This is what they were when I was a kid. See, a lot of you YNs need to listen. It's different now, but in the 80s, this is where they were. When you came over here, this was all black. Everything east of Alameda, Eden, Linwood. They would be in Southgate a little bit. Southgate was white. They kind of, when the white people left, black people were in Southgate for a little bit. But when they did come up here close to Watts, they would be over here in Southgate. This is where Mexicans would be. But everything east of Alameda right here was all black. Oh, my bad. God damn, I was muted. They fucking with my shit. I got you, Star. They fucking with my shit. I didn't mute myself. I did not mute myself. It sounds like they fucking with me. I don't even touch the mute button. I don't know what the fuck happened. YouTube, because I ain't, my mute button way over here. I ain't touched that motherfucker. Yeah, I saw it was muted. I ain't touched the mute button. I don't know what the fuck just happened. I don't know what the fuck just happened. I don't know what the fuck happened. But y'all heard it. Y'all got to see it. Now, I ain't got no weed. I wish I did. If I had some weed, I'd have been more observant. But I don't know what the fuck happened. I ain't touched the goddamn mute button. I looked over here. Star, my mom gave me a call. Like, oh, shit. My man Chris, I saw Chris and Star calling. I was like, something must be wrong. I was just telling y'all where LA was, where shit was in LA. I was telling y'all this whole 105 freeway was black. This was a black neighborhood that they mowed down. From the 105 all the way through. All this is black neighborhood from 105 to Inglewood Ave. This is all the black neighborhood back in the 90s that they mowed down. This was a black neighborhood, and if you ever saw that movie Speed, this was the ramp where that jump happened. On that stupid ass scene where they lied to us and made it seem like a fucking bus can jump a fucking on-ramp. That's when this particular interchange wasn't ready yet. And that's when they filmed that movie Speed. On that stupid ass bus jump scene. That nigga would have died in real life. With Big Red for the 5 Heartbeats. But all this shit was black. Black, 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 black. It wasn't no fucking Mexicans over here until you got way over here. The gentrification of black people in LA. The gentrification of black people in LA was really a soft gentrification. It started in the late 80s. Black gentrification started in the late 80s. Crime rate was crazy than a motherfucker. So what they did was in the late 80s, a lot of black people started moving from South Central, Linwood, and they started moving out here to Pomona. The Mexicans started moving to Pomona. I mean, black people. Where's Pomona? Off the 60. That's fit too far to sister. Right here. Chino, that's where the Ball brothers moved to. Because y'all know, like, the Ball brothers, those are my in-laws through marriage. Lonzo Ball and all them. They family, they dad, Mr. Ball, grew up, like, they family grew up over here in South Central, off Western, off Broadway. The Ball brothers actually, LeVar Ball's granddaddy. Not His grandfather used to run the streets over here in the 1950s over here on Broadway. My dad told me, 'cause my dad was a kid. They're like, yeah, the balls ran Broadway. This was at a time, during that time, the first marijuana arrest in American history happened right here. Louis Armstrong, the great Satchmo Louis Armstrong. The first time somebody was arrested in America, you talking about some black and brown unity. Why do black people always the only ones that take the brunt of shit? When they made weed illegal and they made their first arrest in American history, it happened right here at a club that used to be right here. Louis Armstrong, the father of American jazz, was arrested on this corner in sometime in the 40s. Forgot the year. But he was the first, this was the first marijuana arrest in American history. The Ball brothers, they ran that shit back in them days. They ended up moving way the fuck at the same time out here in a lot of black people started moving way the fuck out here in the 80s. This is when the gentrification started. It was voluntary at first. They started moving to Covina, Pomona, San Dimas. Over here, this is where Sugar Free from. Sugar Free from Pomona, that's over here. All the Sugar Free niggas started moving out here in the 80s. This is where all the Sugar Free niggas started moving to. In the 80s. And then they started moving. Make sure I'm not muted. God damn it. I gotta keep checking my shit now. Make sure I'm not muted. Then all the Sugar Free niggas, all the rest of them niggas, all the Kawhi Leonard niggas, they started moving out here to Riverside and San Bernardino. So y'all see how far that is away from LA? In the 80s, all the black people started moving out here. San Bernardino, Riverside, Pomona. And that's when the Mexicans started coming into America and moving up into the hood in the 80s. Black people moved way the fuck out here. This is about, and with no traffic, an hour. With traffic, 2-3 hours. But back then, it wasn't that many people out there in San Bernardino back then in the 80s. So a lot of black people who had jobs, they still worked in downtown LA, but they moved to San Bernardino, like Kawhi Leonard's family, because it was too much goddamn drama and trauma going on in the hood. Then when the 90s hit, niggas started moving way the fuck out here to Lancaster and excuse me, Lancaster and Palmdale. So when the 90s hit, niggas started moving from way down here in South Central LA to way the fuck up there in Lancaster. And it still ain't shit up here. Niggas was buying houses for like 70 grand. And this is where most of black LA lives now. A lot of black LA. And then something else happened. See, this is just desert, depravity, and nothing out here. It's just, man, when people move to Palmdale, look, I'm more likely to see my family in Dallas than I am to see my family in Palmdale. I'm not driving out here. Fuck this area. Only thing they got out here is shopping centers and shit. Nigga, this is the most fun you gonna get in Palmdale, nigga, is a Black Angus and a movie theater. Look at how fucking ugly it is out here. Just ugly. This is where the niggas live now. And the major reason for that was during the 2000s. During the 2000s, the city of LA shut off Section 8 vouchers. And what they did was, anybody that was on Section 8 that lived in the hood, if you lived in Compton, Watts, all this shit, if you lived down here and you were black, only if you were black, they were relocating your Section 8 to out here. Because this is still technically LA City. It's 80 miles away, but it's still LA City. 80 miles away. Told you LA's massive. So that's what they did. If you were on Section 8 and you were black and you lived in Inglewood, Hawthorne, if you lived in Nickerson Gardens, if you live, they were all throughout the 2000s, they were relocating black people way the fuck out here. And as they relocated black people out here, they moved Mexicans in. Now, if you were a white person on Section 8, if you were a Mexican on Section 8 or somebody else, you can still get Section 8 housing. They did not lift that Section 8 moratorium until 2013. I remember because I was still working with kids at that time. It was 2013 was when they started allowing black people to move back here in South Central. But for about 10 years, if you're moving, your voucher sent your ass to Palmdale. And they replaced with black people one by one. So the gentrification happened slowly from the mid 80s. And then it really started to get guerrilla. They started to get guerrilla pimping with gentrification in 2012, 2013. That's when they started guerrilla pimping gentrification. The last couple years of Obama. That's when they started closing shit down. That's when they closed down the Ladera Heights Starbucks where black people congregated. That's when they closed down Dockwater Beach, the beach that black folks went to right here. White folks used to call this ethnic beach. This was the beach that black people used to party at the time. Like this was nigga beach. But what they did when they wanted black people to stop partying and having a good time, they took away all the parking. You used to be able to park along these streets right here. You used to be able to park. So what they did was when they wanted black people to stop coming over here, they took away the parking on both sides of the street. And then the police started handing out tickets like crazy, chasing black people away. All this is 2013, 2014, 2015, 16. This was where black people went to the beach. They basically shut this beach down. They shut down the Ladera Heights 2016. They shut down the Ladera Starbucks. Like all the old black folks. This was a congregating place for black people. Magic Johnson owned this center. And this is where black folks on the west side congregated. This is where you can get YNs, old niggas. Old niggas love playing chess right here in front of this. Used to be a Starbucks. And Magic Johnson owned this Starbucks and this Fridays. And this was on the west, all the black people on the west side. This is where we congregated. And then what they did was they shut this Starbucks down the same time they closed that beach. And at the same year they did that, they closed the Mert Park. This is shit we got to deal with as black people in LA. Very racist out here. Extremely racist. Happens right in front of your face with a smile. The only difference. They just do it with a smile. That same week, that same time they locked that down, they locked down Mert Park Plaza. They put a gate around this. This is the black drum circle. This is where black folks congregated. Now we've since got some work done and got a lot of shit removed, but gentrification's already happened. They put a big ass ugly gate around this part that's now not there anymore. But what they did also was black people tried to buy this whole block. Russians own this whole shit. Black people tried to buy it, they wouldn't sell it to us. Black people had more money than the Russians to buy this block. Black folks got together in LA to buy this block. They wouldn't sell it to us. But this piece of real estate, the owners of Soul Folks right here, this place right here called Soul Folks, they ended up buying this particular strip of real estate right here. So black people own this particular strip and it's owned by the owners here at Soul Folks. But they didn't sell this shit to us. And another thing that happened to us here in LA was black people had $115 million set aside to buy the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza 2 years ago. A black investment group got together and had 115. This was for sale. They were selling this for $110 million. Black people raised $115 million to buy this right here. You know what the city of LA did? They sold it to Russians for $107 million. True story, guy. True story, gang. Black and brown all together. True story. This was for sale for 110 million. The black investment group raised 115 million, but they sold it to Russians for 107 million. You want to know how else gentrification happened here? Let me show you how else gentrification happened here. There's a Russian man that's buying up a lot of these properties. And what he's doing, the black people who aren't selling, is he's using a law called eminent domain. He's using what they call, what do they call that? What's that law? Drawing a blank. What's the name of that law? Gang injunction laws. For black businesses on Crenshaw. Black people own businesses up and down Crenshaw Boulevard. There's this Russian guy that's using his law firm connects, his court connects, to where if a black person owns a business, they're targeting black businesses. The owner of this liquor store right here was black owned for a while. Well, it was actually owned by an African. This was owned by an African, but he's black enough. This living room here was owned by, this is where I met Boo Capone. But Boo Capone used to do a comedy show here, and I would do comedy in this living room. Chef Maryland black owned spot. You know what they did? You know what they did? For that liquor store, they didn't want that African nigga owning that liquor store no more. So what they did was, they said, well, since, mind you, people of other races that own stuff around here, it was things that was happening on this side of town. What they did was they used injunction laws, because it was shootings that was happening over here on this side of the street and that side of the street. And they use those injunctions to, and what they'll do with those gang laws, truancy laws, they'll put like a $70,000 lien, $100,000 lien, $50,000 lien against your business, against your property. And if you don't pay it, the city of LA can now seize your property. And so you have this Russian dude not only doing that to the shopping centers over here, he was also doing that in these houses over here in the West. Mind you, this is the historic West Adam district. This is the area. These houses up in here, they were seized. And mind you, this is historic West Adams. Thurgood Marshall in the 1940s, Hattie McDaniel wanted to buy a house over here, and they didn't let black people live over here. So Thurgood Marshall, through Hattie McDaniel, sued and won. The first lawsuit that got black people living in non-black neighborhoods was won in this neighborhood right here by Thurgood Marshall suing for Hattie McDaniel to move into this neighborhood over here. And there's some black people that still live over here. But these are some nice, big, beautiful homes over here. When you come back here, this is the LA Sugar Hill district. Yes, New Yorkers, LA got a Sugar Hill district too. And these big old huge homes up in here. Well, not there. That's Washington. I gotta go up to down to Adams. Well, I'm getting to a point right here. I'm getting to a point. But black folks live. See these big old houses? Black folks' houses. Huge. This is where they filmed House Party. Y'all remember when he was walking through the when Robin Harris got pulled over? That was up in here. These big old houses. That's where they filmed House Party. The House Party happened up in here, the movie House Party. Well, anyway, I said that to say a lot of black people who still own houses up in here, if something happened, they're using that as laws to put liens on these houses to displace black people out of these homes. You see these big old beautiful homes? Victoria Ave. These is black people houses. Black neighborhood. When I was 2 years old, my parents lived over here for a brief second when I was like 2. Some of my first pictures are taken of me living when I was just learning how to walk. Well, I was like 1, because I was just learning how to walk. When I was just learning how to walk, it was over here in this neighborhood. Well, we weren't there long. But these are black homes. They using these injunction laws to leverage and take homes. It happened to my old church. Rest in peace, Bishop Frank Stewart. My old church, Bishop Stewart ended up selling the church before it got there. But that same guy that was going through taking these black houses did it right here on where is right here. You see where it says Zoe Lofts? This used to be my church. Let me get my bearings straight. Damn, they changed the neighborhood so fucking much. God damn. Oh, here we go. This used to be my church. Right here. Zoe Christian Fellowship. The Russian guy came. He wanted this. All this used to be a church. It was called Zoe Christian Fellowship. Now it's called Zoe Lofts. Knocked the church down. Church owned this parking lot, knocked that shit down. All this was black. Russian guy buying up all that shit. And if you don't sell to him, he's putting gang injunction laws on your shit. Fay Dodo. This used to be a black bar. This used to be a bar right here. Gone. All that shit gone. All that shit gone. Through injunction laws. That's the kind of hell we're dealing with in LA as black people. We're dealing with legal hell. We got the Mexican racist officers. We got the racist white establishment. We got the Russians not selling to us. The shit's happening real. And then not only deal with goofy ass entertainers like him, you got to deal with people that come around in the chat, or you hear people talking from the South or from other parts of the country. Well, all black people got to do is just come together. Nigga, we did come together, motherfucker. And we still didn't get our shit. And we have the money. And we have the money. So I don't want to hear none of that bullshit. And that's why I don't have bullshit for all these gang banging ass niggas. All that gang banging y'all did in the 90s, and this is what the fuck we left with? Boston just said, why do Mexicans fake like they can teach us history when they half of them never graduated from high school or read English? This is what we dealing with. Only for me to turn on YouTube and to hear a bunch of niggas say, well, this block versus that block, and I kill that nigga, and I beat that nigga, and oh man, these niggas this and nigga that. And then when the people that's pulling your motherfucking card in prison having a little riot because now it's white supremacy's time to deal with them, here you come with some goofy shit. Here you come with this goofy shit. We getting it on all ends from everybody. And not only are we not getting it all in, thank God for Kendrick Lamar for at least speaking, and Nipsey for speaking of what we going through. Thank God for Nipsey and Kendrick. Because yeah, the game made the West relevant again, like y'all like to say. Okay, fine. He made the rest relevant. Whoop-de-doo. But what the fuck did he say when he got the mic? Nothing. Ice Cube gave us death certificate 6 months before the LA riots. Ice Cube told the world the riots are coming. Kendrick told us we gonna be all right. Nipsey told us to hustle and motivate. What this nigga teach us? My rims is bigger than yours. My house is bigger than yours. My bitch is better than yours. Hell yeah, Fedor was higher. Was fire. Yeah. Please like and share. And also know that my music history course at dewanb.com, register right now. We are starting in 29 days. Well, not that long now. We got less than 3 weeks. We're starting my Black American Music Family Tree History course. Summer school for the youngins. And also for you too if you want to join. But you're right, man. The game always been lame. Like, that's some lame shit. And I never liked it. Poor representation of blackness. Getting in fights at the Drew League. Always fighting people. He beat that one nigga. That shit was funny as Game going at 50 Cent was funny. Game was the only nigga that 50 Cent can't really obliterate. This nigga Game done got fights on camera, done everything that highlights the lower runs of our society. I'm about to get up out of here. Make sure y'all leave a comment after the video to keep this further up in the algorithm. But yeah, black folks, we don't. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We don't have to take this. Like I said before, it is okay to me, in my opinion, if somebody wants to be apolitical and not speak on politics at all. I'm cool with that. But if you're gonna stay out, stay out. Don't be neutral when it comes to us, but then want to jump in the game when you're dealing with people that oppress us, when they're given the power and the tool by white supremacy. It's happening right now in the LA County Sheriff Department, in the LAPD. It's happening on the construction sites. It's happening with the city contract. It's happening at the DMV. And I won't mention my clients' names that I'm working with anti-black racism training on. It's happening with them too. With some of the biggest companies out here in the city. Rocky tired of me talking. So this is what's happening. And we ain't got time to be dealing with some nigga that just wanted to sell a couple concert tickets to go around lying to us and telling us what LA is. No, the fuck it ain't. We're dealing with people that got their ass whooped and lost the land. Tough luck. Tough titty, deal with it. Yeah, it was Mexico for 27 years, but you couldn't hold on to it. And for the 27 years it was Mexico, it wasn't built up like this. LA is built up because of the entertainment industry, the oil industry, the defense industry, aeronautics, the car industry, and the port, shipping. None of that was around when it was Mexico. Wasn't no port of Long Beach. That was the third busiest port in the world. There was oil all under the ground, but y'all wasn't using it. Y'all could have put an Air Force base over on El Segundo Aviation, but no, you didn't. That was America. America built all this shit. You don't get to come after America built all this shit, built these industries, and then say, hey, this was ours. No, the fuck it wasn't. Y'all lost. Y'all lost. And after y'all lost, we built it up. And you came looking for a job. You're right. You have Mexican officers here in LA calling Mexican protesters calling black people, black officers, niggers. Yes, that happened. Yup. The music, rhythm, and blues was built here in LA. LA was the first city to invest in rhythm and blues. Y'all know that? The center of recording music at the time was in Chicago, but Chicago and the South and New York, they were not interested in recording this new race music called rhythm and blues. They didn't want to record race music. So what built the LA recording industry in the 40s were mafiosos, mafia folks, creating places before Chief Parker kicked the mafia out of LA. They established LA, and it was rhythm and blues that got the LA recording scene kicked off. People don't know that in the 40s. It was rhythm and blues that got the LA recording scene kicked off. Then rhythm and blues went back to Chicago. Brunswick Records, Mercury Records, and all those, VJ. But it got its spring right here from black people music. Smooth jazz. What they call radio jazz or easy listening. That got started right here in LA when Miles Davis came to LA to record Birth of the Cool. That set off a new genre. These industry that black people started and built. We had the majority of the inventions on the railroad. The railroad is what got people to LA from the South and the Midwest. My grandfather, my great-great-granddaddy, that moved out here in the 1930s, invented the automatic railroad crossing in 1925, got his patent July 1925. So every time you see that arm go up and go down when the train is coming, a black man invented that and moved the family here to LA. And it was more black people here in LA when he moved here than was Mexicans. We built the shit. Welcome. But you can't claim ownership. See how it goes? I'm about to get up out of here. Somebody, look at this dumbass. This dude said, yeah, Uncle Tom was helping black people, you dumb fuck. You don't even know history. What's his name? Marco Polo's Humanity. Stop shining white man's shoes, homie. I'm not your homie. King must be turning over in his grave. Now, King, love me. Sell out Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was for us. Uncle Tom knew how to smile in front of white people and come back and bring black folks the messages of what they was talking about. Uncle Tom sacrificed himself for the greater good of black society. I love Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom had to do what he had to do because he was under racial oppression, under racial castigation and subjugation. And Uncle Tom knew how to play whatever role he needed to play so he can come back and give black people what we needed. I love Uncle Tom. So learn your history and find out who your real daddy is. Because your mama was fucking every nigga that she saw around. Your mama was fucking the pastor at church. Your mama was fucking the bum on the corner. Your mama was fucking your teacher, and you still got F's. How'd your mama fuck your history teacher, and you still don't know this shit? Your mama was fucking your history teacher. And you still don't know this? You dumb motherfucker. Yeah, Uncle Tom knew how to play the game, right? You're right. Sambo was against us. Uncle Tom was a real nigga. But yeah, we done talking about this. West Coast, we took an L with this one. I'm gonna need some West Coast rappers to step up and denounce this game goofy shit. As a matter of fact, you ain't got to. I ain't look. I don't need West Coast rappers to do nothing. Matter of fact, let me withdraw what I just said. I don't need y'all to do nothing. Make y'all money. I get it. But if you ain't gonna step up for us, can you please just shut the fuck up? That's all we ask. That's all we ask. Make your money. Talk about whatever you want. Just shut up. Just shut up. And I see a lot of Latinos bragging California will always be Latino. Yeah, let me give Latinos their credit before I get out of here. A major reason why California has one of the biggest economy in the world is because of you guys, Latinos. You guys allow California companies to make so much money. And do you know why California companies make so much money that they become that we're now like we're the fifth largest economy in the world, almost as big as Japan? It's because of illegal immigration. They're not paying them. They're not paying you. Money that should go to salaries for citizens is going into the pockets of the wealthy elite. That's why one of the biggest parts of the California economy is the agriculture. All up and down that San Joaquin Valley is money. Money, 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 money. And they brought y'all in by the busload to pick cherries and tomatoes and peanuts. Do you know that as of like a few years ago, California exports 80% of the world's peanuts? This San Joaquin Valley is the breadbasket of civilization. And because you work for damn near free, that allows a few people to make a lot of money. All the trucking jobs that used to go to white Americans and black Americans, when truckers got paid a decent wage, that enough. When truckers got, they still get paid pretty cool, but when truckers got paid, they brought you in to undercut those truckers. They brought you in to undercut those grocery store workers. They brought you in to undercut the price of labor. So yes, you do deserve a pat on the back for making the California economy so massive. It's massive because they ain't paying nobody. If they shared the wealth like they did back in the 70s, it wouldn't be so robust. Why? Because a few people wouldn't have it all. It would be spread around. So Apple wouldn't be worth more than most countries. You see what I mean? People will be getting paid. So your pat on the back is allowing a small few wealthy elite to get away with stealing money from the economy by paying you nothing. And that's a fact. Yeah, they undercut trucker rates. I told you, my dad drove a truck. I saw this shit happen in real life. When I had to wear the same football shoes 2 seasons in a row. Because my dad's motherfucking job cut his pay. And I couldn't get no new cleats on time. I had to wait like a month into the season to finally get some new cleats. Because my dad's paycheck was short. All right. Hit the Cash App. I appreciate y'all. Let's fight the bullshit. Don't let people stand up and say whatever the fuck they want to say without checking it. We dealing with some real stuff right now. Us day-to-day folks, the regular people. We dealing with a whole lot. And the last thing we need is some entertainer trying to tell the world that everything's A-okay. No, the fuck it's not. I want it to be okay, but I can't control that. Because I ain't the one hiring people. At least for the county shit. All right. What's up, Lori Brown in the chat? Miriam, Cornell Slide. Appreciate y'all. Hula Gang, Skew Raider, Damon Reed, and everybody else in the chat room. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.